If we want to be intentional stewards of the resources God gives us, we need to know what we have.
Welcome to the Steward Lab Podcast with our parents, James and Amberlee Rich. Join Mom and Dad as they explore how to be good stewards with your time, money, relationships, health, careers, and even your kids, like us. It's all about growing God's kingdom. Come on, let's experiment!
Welcome to the Steward Lab Podcast. We're so excited that you're here joining us. If you have listened and really have enjoyed this show, we would absolutely love if you could leave us a rating and review. It really makes it so much easier for other people to hear about what we have to talk about and share what God is doing in our lives, and also that we need to be stewarding the resources that we have that God has given us. And so today we are going to talk about decluttering your finances.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about decluttering in general. And I want to tell a story about recently I've lost 50, 55, 56 pounds, which means that a lot of the things in my closet no longer fit me. And so it was one of those things that I knew I needed to do, go through and declutter my closet. And believe me, we're getting to the finance side of this, but bear with me as I tell this story because it's going to connect. Every time I would walk into the closet, I would see the clutter of all the clothes, many of which didn't fit me, but I didn't know for sure if they fit me or not. And so every morning I would pull off a shirt, I'd put it on, I'd walk out to Amberlee and I'd be like, does it fit? Does it not fit? Does it look good? Do I look like I'm swimming? And I would go through sometimes 2 or 3 shirts, and then sometimes I would just put that shirt back even though it didn't quite look right. And it just became this mess, and it was frustrating, and I was constantly just trying to figure out what to wear. And so it's one of those things that it was a daily struggle, and we do the same thing with our finances. We avoid it. We overlook the financial clutter, and we don't see it nearly as much as like you walk into my closet, you could see clothes everywhere, and it was hard to rummage through. But with the finances, we don't actively physically see it typically. A lot of it's swimming around in our head. It's hidden in different browser tabs. It's hidden in different password vaults. But there's all of these things that are just cluttered, and money going out on a regular basis that we know is not quite the right fit for our lifestyle at this point in time. And so we want to talk today about how can we take that same concept of decluttering our closet and apply that to our finances.
Yeah, that's good. I think when you think about decluttering your closet, the hardest thing is actually starting. And so that's the first thing that you want to do, is just to start. And a lot of it is you just need to dedicate some time to do the work, because you normally make a bigger mess before things start looking pretty.
Yeah, when I was going through my closet, when I finally actually took time, we took everything out and I tried, and I had piles on our bed, and it looked like chaos.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think a lot of us also wait on, like, I'll do it someday, and if you keep pushing it back and back and back, we often just wait too long. We're spending money on things that we don't even realize. Like, there's just so much things that can be lost in the midst of it. And so just like when you have in your closet, like sometimes you might be looking for something and you can't find it because it's just in a mix of all this other stuff. And so you could even forget that you already own something and you don't have to go to the store to go and get it. But I think the first thing to do is really to just start. Put it into your calendar. Find a time that you can really go and dig into this, because you have to start somewhere. And I think that's the hardest step, is just doing that first thing and knowing, like, what should I do to start out with is a challenging place to be.
Yeah. So just getting started, there's probably going to be emotions that come up with it, especially if you've had emotional trauma around finances in the past. And maybe you've gone bankrupt at some point, or you haven't felt good about the way that you've spent your money. Take a deep breath, let that go, and get started.
Mm-hmm. And most of us, our money is in a lot of different places. And so really getting clarity of where things are going and what's actually happening is so key. So the first thing you want to do, like I said, is is to start. To put it on your calendar, block off some time to go and do this. And the second thing you want to do is you want to do a financial audit. In our last episode, we talked about, I did a time audit to really figure out like, what do I do in my day and where is my time going? And that was so eye-opening for me to see, okay, I am spending this much time a day homeschooling my kids, this much cleaning, cooking, preparing meals, like all of that kind of thing. It was really helpful for me to get a bird's eye view on my life. And that's the same thing when we do this with our finances. Is so often we're in the weeds. We just see all these bills come in and out, but we're not seeing the big picture. And this is the nice thing about doing a financial audit is that you're getting the big picture. You're stepping back, you're seeing where things actually stand. And it's also a time to recognize if anything is off. Because most of us, there's something that's out of alignment. Maybe you're being overcharged. Maybe something you're paying for that you don't even realize it. Like, you start to notice things that you wouldn't normally.
So here's kind of what it looks like to be to audit yourself. A lot of times, especially with finances, we think of auditing as like tax or the tax IRS coming in and auditing and looking at every little line item. It doesn't have to be scary like that. It could be as easy as just pulling out, if you're using credit cards, pull out your credit card statement, go through it, maybe highlight different colors for different categories. Like, what are you spending in these different areas? Pull out your bank statements, do the same, maybe even export them into if you're techie, export them into a CSV file and then combine them together so that you have a good broad picture of how much. The other thing you can do if you're even more techie, and you want to spend less time on this, is upload those bank statements into AI and just say, hey, here's the categories I'm looking for, and name off a couple of the different categories that you want to get a good feel for how much you're spending. Can you pull together whatever it is that I'm spending on eating out? And then it'll pull it together. It'll even create a spreadsheet for you. It's pretty incredible. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Make sure you go and find out, like, where are all of your investments? Where are your debts? How much are you in debt? A lot of people that we've worked with, the debt that they have is so overwhelming for them that they don't even have clarity on it. They don't want clarity on it. And many, many times, once you find out how much you have, a lot of times it's not as bad as you think. Of course, there's those times that, it is a lot worse than you wish it was. But then you can create a plan. Look where your loans are, where your insurance policies, gather everything that you can. You can't have a good feel and a good audit of what you are spending money on until you've gathered everything together.
Yeah. And that'll just give you clarity of what you're spending money on. Are you paying for things that you're not currently using? Are you being overcharged for anything? This is an easy one to have slip through your fingers, especially when you think about like cable, internet, even some utility bills, all kinds of like insurance, that the original amount that you signed and paid for is now very different than what it's looking like today, even gym memberships. And so just looking and seeing, is this right? And sometimes it could be like you've been spending money for years on things that you didn't even know.
Yeah. And also not spending money on things that you should be, because we had a friend years and years ago where they ended up selling a car, buying a new car, and they forgot to switch the insurance from their old car to the new car. So their old car was being insured, but their new car wasn't, and they got in a wreck. And so like being able to look at your finances and know for sure, like, I've got everything where it needs to be is going to be so helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like with the debt side, I think especially with student loans, so many people don't even know where to look for that kind of thing. And maybe their loan was bought by a different company, and it's confusing. And so I think that can also hold people back because it's more complicated. There's not an easy route to get it. And so even with retirement, maybe you have investments at a previous job that you don't even know how to access that. But if you find out where that information is, that's so key and valuable. You put money towards that. You need to know where it's at, especially if something happens, like if you pass away. you might have money in places that no one even knows to look. And so you never actually get to enjoy the fruits of that labor.
Yeah. Yeah. So after getting started and then doing a financial audit, now is the time to start decluttering. And so what does decluttering look like when it comes to your finances?
So when it comes to decluttering your finances, you want to look at your current spending and what's going on and see, is there anything that is extras, things that I don't need? And I think it's just like when you go to your closet, there's some things you're like, I love this. This is a keeper. And there are some things you're like, I got this because it was on sale. I can't remember the last time I wore it. And some of the things we have, it could be like a subscription to Spotify that you're like, I maybe use it a couple times a year. Is this, it's okay. Like you need to go through and wrestle with that of like, is this something that I want to keep? And is this something that I want to let go of? And that will help you to recognize like what are the core things that you want to be spending money on? What are some things that you're ready to let go of? Because you might realize, man, my retirement and my investments are not where they need to be. And that will give you a deeper sense of like, I need to declutter pretty hardcore so I can make room to put more money towards these investments. Or maybe you go and see that your debt is really high and you're recognizing, man, my interest rate on this credit card is almost 30%. And if I run the math, this is going to take me, 8 years to pay off. That knowledge and that understanding is going to give you some fire to realize, okay, I don't want to be paying for this for 8 more years. How can I make this go faster? And that will change how much you want to declutter. If you feel like things are more, pretty good and in alignment, you probably don't have to declutter nearly as much as some other people might need to.
Yeah. But when it comes down to the decluttering side of things, we talked about this just in our last episode that actually I think it was the episode before, where we shouldn't just get rid of things just to get rid of things and become so legalistic that it's all about let's cut everything out of our life that gives us any enjoyment. And that's where we work with our clients to talk about like what is it that aligns with your values? First of all, what are your values? And what are you spending money on that actually aligns with your values? And if it aligns with your values, don't go cutting it. Don't have that restriction model of let's just restrict for restriction's sake. Start reducing waste and looking for the things that don't align with what's important to you, don't align with your values, don't align with your goals, and start getting rid of those things. And so I would say if you are paying for some sort of subscription that you're not using, there's probably no way to justify the alignment of your values to that. Maybe there is, but I doubt it. And so I would start with the things like, what are you not utilizing to their fullest? And first of all, do an audit inside. Like, should I be doing that? Should I be actually putting my time towards this? And I'm already paying for it monetarily. Should I like going to the gym? Like, should I be doing that? And if it's yes, then start utilizing the thing you're paying for. If it's something like, you know what, I really don't watch Netflix ever. I just pay for it. And it's just on monthly. Let's get rid of it. It's waste. If you're not using it, it's waste.
Yeah. And I think the second thing to do, those are like the big, easier things to let go of, is to see, are you paying more than you expected on, like I said, like your insurance, on any utilities, any,
Internet's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any of those kind of things. Maybe you even got like an introductory rate to like Audible, and then now you're getting charged at a much higher rate. That happens all the time. And so if you can make one phone call, you can often get a good deal, and that ends up saving you money in the long run. And then just put in your phone a reminder that I need to do this in a year. If they say like, we'll give you this price for the next, year, put that in your phone so that way you are reminded that you need to re-look at that again the following year. But those are some just easy and quick wins to free up so you have more margin when it comes to your finances.
Just like we do in every episode, we have an experiment for you. And so this week's experiment is to start a financial audit. And that can be something that's kind of scary for you to do, but just choose one area. One area, get started. It could be whatever's stressing you out the most. Maybe start focusing on that. If you have debt, maybe start there. If you know that you're spending too much in eating out, or you have a feeling that you are, maybe just audit how much you're spending on eating out. Just start in one area, what's frustrating you, and jump into it.
Yeah, I think just like decluttering, like choosing the area that stresses you out most is a really effective thing, because even if you're working on other things, you're probably in the back of your mind more concerned about that one thing that you really feel like, oh, that's the stressful part. And sometimes it's like eating the frog, like doing that hard thing, that hard task makes it so much easier to get everything else done. But if you feel like you really just want a quick win, choose an area that you feel like is going pretty well, but you just don't have full clarity on it. And that could be like, how much do you have in savings? It could be how much you have in, in different things, like how much you're bringing in income wise. Some people don't have that clarity of how much that is, and really looking at their pay stubs, especially if they're like a W-2 worker, and see, like, really lean into that and see what are their tax withholdings? What does that all look like? How much are they putting towards all these different things? Because maybe it's not in alignment. And it really does give you clarity of like, how much you're really paying in taxes and what that looks like.
Yeah. And a lot of times when for me in particular, I'm going to go and do something, I feel like I'm not going to start because I know I'm not going to do it perfectly. And so I want to give you permission. Don't focus on perfection. Focus on progress over perfection. I like to say that it's like you're playing horseshoes, not darts. You don't have to get a bullseye. You don't have to get exact, but get a good feel for how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, where is it going, where do you want it to go? Simple audit. And if this is something that is just like really stressing you out, this is a perfect time to ask for help. And Amberlee and I, we both coach. We are financial coaches. We do one-on-one coaching with our clients. We do have 3 or 4 slots available for the rest of this year before the new year starts. And so if you want to start next year strong, then reach out to us. You can choose to work with Amberlee, or you can choose to work with me. Sometimes we kind of help our clients, but just go to Rich Living. Together. Go to richlivingcoaching.com/meet. You'll be able to see and get a feel for what coaching looks like, and then choose a time to get on our calendar, a good 20, 30-minute call that will just walk through what it looks like to be coached. We'll get a feel for your current situation, see how we can help you. And so if that's something that if as we were going through what it looks like to do an audit on yourself, that's what we start with first, is getting clarity with our clients. And so if you need help getting clarity with your finances, we're here to help. And we love doing it. We get a kick out of it. It's so enjoyable for us. And we can really help you through the process. If it's a stressful thing for you, I can tell you jokes. Like, we can do that to help it. But we have the tools and the systems that we're able to help you make this transition into clarity and decluttering of your finances so much easier.
Yeah, and also to know what to look for and how to organize it. I think that's one of the things that can be a stumbling block when you're really trying to gain clarity. Like, what am I supposed to be auditing? What areas am I supposed to be focusing on? What's going to help move the needle? And so that's one of the things that we love doing, is helping you figure out where you're at financially. And normally when we work with couples, one person in the relationship is doing more of the financial tasks, and they have a better idea of what's going on, and the other person is kind of in the dark. And so the nice thing about doing a financial audit is that both parties, especially, like, that's one of the things we love to do, is when we are able to help couples connect over their finances, it improves their marriage. It helps every area of their lives. And so doing this and having that clarity together helps you to reach your financial goals. Because if you just set a financial goal, but you don't know where you currently are at, you're going to have a hard time getting to where you want to go. And if we want to be intentional stewards of the resources God gives us, we need to know what we have. I just think about there's so many parables that like we need to know what is entrusted to us. If we're like, we're managing God's resources, but we have no clue what we're managing, we're not doing a great job managing at that point. And that the goal here is not guilt and shame, but I think it's a recognition that like we have a responsibility to know the resources God has given us. I think it's easy for us to be like, God, give me more. I want to have more for, so I can give and I can be generous and all of these things, which is great. But how can he give you more if we're not faithful with what we have? And we have to really recognize where we're at. And so, we would love to work with you if you want to get one-on-one coaching. And even if you're not, it doesn't stress you out, but you just feel like, man, this is a lot to take on. And I know I need to do this. I've been putting this off. Now is the time to get help. This is the fastest way to get where you want to go financially, to steward these resources effectively and well. And it will save you so much time, and stress level will go down. Like it's like we're like, I think about it like when it comes to decluttering, like if you had someone who could come into your closet who was a professional that like this is what they do is they help people declutter. That's what we do for people's finances. Like it gives you the accountability. It makes you get the things done, and they help you get things done at a much faster pace than if you did it alone.
Right. Yeah. So there it is. That's your experiment for this week, is to get started decluttering your finances.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us in Steward Lab. Your experiment starts now. Go make an impact with what you've been given.